And speaking of, look who's just stopped by. Kerry Wood, Ben Zobrist. Fellas, always a pleasure to have you guys on set and taking a look at the current standings. 5.5 games back. The Cubs, they have a ton of potential this season. So what makes you think that this team could be the one to make it happen?
I mean, you said it, electricity. I think you watch this team and you know, being back in Chicago in the summertime and Wrigley's, the Cubs are playing the way they're playing, it's electric. You feel the energy.
Yeah.
And we're only in mid-June, so watching, you know, PCA and watching these guys go out there and do what they're doing. I was at the game last night, tight game, fun. And he's just an electric player. He brings that level, and I think everybody else he brings everybody else up with him. Him and Suzuki together are just, it's fun to watch.
Different, right?
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
You know what? You've been around. We've seen you a lot. A lot more than I normally see.
I'm around occasionally.
Well, I run into him at CVS. I run into him everywhere. We walk in the streets. I'm like, what up, man?
Yeah.
But when you watch this team, what I say all the time is last year was a lot of hope. Like, we hope we win. We hope we're going to do this. This year is like the confidence coming out of that clubhouse seems to be where we expect to dominate every time we're out there. I mean, do you see the same thing?
Oh, yeah. The confidence is sky high, it feels like, with the guys. But, I mean, I like the way that they've responded, too, to any sort of challenges. Early in the season, you know, when they had to go over to Japan and then come back and start up and everything, like just the way that they responded to some of the injury stuff that have taken place and guys stepping up. And that's what you kind of keep hearing is it's not all on one guy or one part of the team. Everybody comes together and they're building upon each other's confidence, it seems like.
So we heard Kerry just talk about PCA and Seiya Suzuki, but then there's Kyle Tucker, there's Ian Happ, there's Michael Busch. When you take a look 1 through 9 in this lineup, how dangerous are the bats if you're a pitcher out there on the hill? Because I know you love the way these guys are swinging the sticks.
Oh, man, it's really scary. It's got to be if you're a pitcher out there. I mean, and also late in the game, I think that starters are one thing that you get a couple of bats off of and you can kind of you wear them down over time, but I think even relievers coming in to see how this team has come back late in games and things like that, the offense never seems to be done. You know, we're always expecting something else to happen.
Right.
There's not a let-up spot in that lineup.
That's
you know what I mean? You don't get down to the bottom like, oh, I can get through this inning or I can get out of this gym. There's no let-up.
No relief. And that's why I wanted to ask you, because we've talked with Fergie Jenkins a million times, and he said his blueprint every single game was he'd want to know how to get past the first 4 hitters in every inning. Do you have that luxury with this 1 through 9?
I don't think you do with teams like this. I think, like I said, everyone's a threat and top to bottom, and it seems like there's guys always on base. We're stealing bags, and there are guys in scoring position. So there's no let-up. There's no let-up in the lineup. But speaking of Japan, like I was in Japan for those two games in that series, and it was a different thought. Like watching those two games, I'm like, man, this might be a long year. We just didn't look good.
Right.
I don't know what it was, or they looked that great, or what it was, but we got back and
longer flight time.
Man, we turned it on and we got back. It's been night and day, night and day team. So it's been fun to watch.
I guess my question, Kerry, is every team has adversity through the season. Like you're gonna have something happen, right? And you're gonna count on guys down in the minor leagues. Well, you have Kay Horton and you have Ben Brown. Both are learning on the fly, big league level. What are they going through mentally to kind of calm the storm and allow them to kind of get into a good rhythm and keep their poise out there?
I mean, I think you look at your veteran players, you look at Happ and you look at Turner and these guys that have been in situations and played, and Dansby and these guys that have been in big games and big situations down the stretch, and you lean heavily on those guys. And those guys know that too, and so they're probably reaching out and being that mentor type, teammate for these guys, and they gel. They're going to gel well together. Right. You got a combination of all that stuff. I think it's those veteran players down the stretch and these runs that.
Because you see J-Mo next to Cade every time he's not starting.
Yeah.
You just see him next to him, like trying to be a sponge. I mean, I think it helps, but I just think when you have this type of team, you need more than the 26 you leave camp with. So you're going to count on so many more, throughout the season.
And we're still mid-June. I mean, we don't know what's coming. You pray there's no injuries, right? But it's baseball, and it's a long season, so.
That's right.
Next guy's got to be ready.
Absolutely. That mentorship role, it's big. And so I want to know, have you had any conversations with Matt Shaw? Because he's a shortstop by trade. He's played second base, and now he's over at the hot corner, and he's doing things like he needs to do, being that super utility guy. Are those discussions something that is taking place?
You know what? I'm not aware. I know that he's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
And I know that he's talking to his teammates, the veterans on the team, and those guys are incredible mentors. For a guy like Matt, and he listens really well. He's a sponge, and like I said, he's very smart. So he's making quick adjustments, and we're seeing that at the big league level. And and he knows that the value of everything is going to just grow over time. This is a tough league, and it takes a while to really build into everything you're capable of, and he's not trying to rush that process, I don't think.
Cliff, do you hear that? That's the diplomatic way of him saying that he has not had those conversations just yet with Matt Shaw, but I'm sure, like you said, it's an open book. He'd love to sit down and have a chat.
Hey, if I was having that conversation, I wouldn't tell you.
All right. Okay, good.
That's what he's trying to tell you. I know
Not
that.
so diplomatic
All
there.
right.
I mean, I wasn't going to tell you that. Bruce already got you.
That's true. He did. Good call.
But we actually want to do this little breakdown with two of the best in the game. We got Paul Skeens on the mound, and we got, you sitting here. And you think about going back to 90, 98, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, but just how you felt in the curveball, the fastball, everything seemed like it was just on point. I mean, every time you threw a pitch, you just turned around and showed the hitter your numbers like, yeah, you weren't going to hit that, right? So you look at Kay Horton, who's starting today. His curveball, eerie similar, but not as much bend to it, but tight, a little tight.
It's tight, and what I see of him, he hides like that. It's so nasty
he's
right
hiding it a
there.
little bit more.
It's the same slot as everything else, and it's like he can recreate. I mean, it's this arm slot's the same, and it should be right, but like he hides the ball really well, and so hitters don't see it till it's on its way. Like they just don't pick it up.
I mean, that's
But that's dirty. I don't care if they see that coming or not.
Right.
And this guy's on another. He's another.
So, okay, you got to give me something on what is he always when you and I was tinker? What is that?
I mean, we always tinker. We never stop tinkering. I don't know. I didn't have anything near like that stuff. This guy.
I mean, but that's just
you kind of did.
Yeah,
Here's the difference, though. It looks like he knows what he was doing. I didn't know what I was doing back then.
I don't think. Okay, so I had a conversation with him in spring training, and I mean, he's eyeballed. He's with you, and I'm like, man, I better say something smart, and I ain't got nothing smart in my head, but I'm gonna try to say something smart. And I'm asking him, like when you mess him and manipulating the baseball, like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to figure it out. And I said to myself, well, that's even scarier.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to figure that out and you're already this good, what do you do too much? Can you do too much?
You can get a little bit too far into it, but as pitchers, we're always messing around with the ball. We're always playing catch with different things. And I mean, I never tried to play around with it, and I always was in the bullpen. If I was going to try something new, I did it a long time before I take it out in public and other people got to see it. But some of these guys they've been doing it for so long, they can like mess around, they can feel something in the game and make a little adjustment, or you talked about it maybe dropping the arm slot a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to be at the same arm slot with every pitch because I just thought the hitters are going to pick that up if I'm making an adjustment on one pitch. If I'm a little lower and then I'm up here on another pitch, they're going to pick that up quick. So, I mean, if you're throwing 100, I guess you get a little more.
I got so many questions. Like, I almost want to I hope we can get a baseball in here because I want to see how you threw your curveball. I know the fans want to see that. I mean, because it was something different. But when you think about going from starting to closer, did you change anything other than the mental?
Mental for sure, routine for sure. Your routine changes from starter to reliever. You got to be ready to go every day.
Right.
I didn't throw the curveball as much certainly didn't throw the slider as much.
Okay.
That was just a shoulder thing for me. Curveballs I could throw, but that's when I developed the cutter. So look at that. You asked for a ball, there it is.
So
I developed the cutter.
I thought you would have missed that.
I developed the cutter. I started throwing the cutter, but only because I was playing around with it, playing catch. Because I was in Cleveland, no breaking ball, no slider. I couldn't throw a curveball, couldn't throw a slider. It just was horrible. Had no feel for it. Couldn't find it.
Scratched it.
So now I'm closing games in the American League with a four-seam fastball. I'm like, I think I got to come up with something else. I couldn't throw a changeup. I didn't have anything else, so I started kind of trying to play around with a cutter, try to get something to move.
Yeah.
And then I got traded to the Yankees, and everybody's like, oh, Mariano taught you the cutter. I'm like, kind of was already tinkering. I just watched him throw the cutter all the time. And then obviously you see the good ones, but man, he got away with some really bad ones too. And I'm like, I don't have to be perfect with this. And so the cutter was a pitch for really, it extended my career another 3 or 4 years. But my curveball and that old footage was, I just go across the two-seam that way, and I was gripping it tight in here. I had all the pressure on this middle finger, and it was coming over the top of that and pulling that.
Did you ever, pressure?
Never.
Nothing?
And that right there, I was gripping it as hard as I could and throwing it as hard as I could. There was zero thought process to it. I found the release point in the fourth inning with it, and that was it. I was able to hit the release point for the rest of the game. But my slider wasn't much of a difference. I would just rotate it down. That was my slider.
That was it.
A little further out of my fingertip, a little more space in there. But they were real simple, so I could find that seam easily, and I didn't have to play. But
let's hope that Paul Skeens isn't able to find some of those seams in just a little bit here. And, we heard Craig say that there's no hitters meeting today, so I want you to give us a quick impromptu hitters meeting. How do you deal in that batter's box, and how do you combat a guy like Paul Skeens, though?
Oh man, well, there's certain things you have to give up. You can't try to hit every pitch, obviously, with a guy
Pick
like
one.
that. You got to pick, and you really got to stay on the heat. In my opinion, I mean, I haven't talked to the guys about exactly what their approach is. If they've got experience against him, where he went soft or he went specific in a specific spot, maybe they'll look at that. But with that kind of speed and velo, you got to stay there unless he's proven that he's going to use all that other stuff. The challenge is with 2 strikes. You know, in my opinion, it's like, what do I guess with 2 strikes? Because I can't hit. He's throwing that split and everything down below the zone that looks, it's coming out hard just like everything else, and then it's dropping off the table. So you're either going to sit on guessing something soft or something hard in that situation to try to still make good contact.
Is he so tough to pick up because most of his pitches are strike to ball and then strike to strike? They start out like a strike and then they end up like a strike, and then you're walking back to the dugout scratching your head.
Yeah, and it's what happens the last 20 feet for each of them, right? It's looking the same, and then it's either taking off on you or you're moving a lot or it's dropping. You know, that's what's so difficult about that stuff.
I was 1 for 10 against Kerry.
I was going to throw that out there, but
I know what I'm beat.
Was it a homer?
Nope, it was a double. But I got in about 6, 7 strikeouts. Anyway, my point of it is to your point.
He's a low ball hitter.
Is I missed my pitch with him because he's so good. I had 1 shot, and that's what I always tell the guys: you have 1 shot. Don't miss your pitch. Now it's easy for me sitting here on the back, you know, with me sitting with some sunflower seeds in my mouth. But what you have to be able to say, you can't miss it.
Was that fastball?
Yeah.
So my theory with lefties, if I can show a lefty, at least the first time through the order, every lefty that comes up, if I can spot a fastball into them, I got him.
Yeah.
If I can throw it for a strike into a lefty in his first at bat, I got him the rest of the day because I can throw that slider off of it.
Throw a what for a what?
A 4-seam fastball for a strike.
Oh, do you see that we don't see as much of that this day and age? A lot of guys, they're swing and miss merchants. They don't necessarily throw as many strikes.
Yeah, later in the game, later in the count. But early on, if the first time through the lineup, those lefties came in. If I could show them a fastball in, I felt like I had the advantage the rest of the day.
It's more so for me the end as opposed to the strike. The strike part of it obviously, right? You're trying to get first pitch strike, but it's where. I always talk about location. If you get in on us, though, you know it's going to be tough for us, especially with high velo, right? So now it's like, man, he's in on me, but now you have middle away that's sitting there going, well, how many hit both?
It opens up everything else.
He hit over 300 against me.
Did I? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he did.
I'm surprised you didn't
Let's just say it was late in his career when he was throwing heaters.
Hey, you know what somebody told me on the street? Because they know I told them I was talking to you today. It was like, take me back to 2016 Game 7 when you were in the box. Like, what were you thinking? That was the question I was supposed to ask. I know you've answered it 1,000 times, but what were you thinking?
I mean, it's Brian Shaw, who has a nasty cutter. It's funky. I took a pitch, a really good strike in that at-bat that I wish going back, you're like, oh, man, that was maybe the one that I was going to get.
Right.
And ultimately, it was a battle from then on. But I knew that the one thing I was trying to do is I got to stay on the other side of the field, which was not my forte. I liked to pull the ball. I hit the ball hard to the pull side. But I had enough experience off him that I knew I couldn't do that in that moment. I had to try something totally different. And, like, everything was going the other side of the field. And, you know, he got one out there, just flicked it, and
that was it.
You know, it was
man, everybody think we up there just, not thinking about nothing. We thinking.
Yeah, there's an approach.
Sometimes you're overthinking, too.
I know. That's why hence why I'm 1 for 10. I'm like, man, he going to throw me a curveball at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
Real quick before we get you guys out of here, Father Time, undefeated, but both you guys look like you're in playing shape, fighting weight. I see you with that ball over there. Old habits die hard. If you had to go out there, could you go an inning? Could you go 2? Could you go 3? And how many knocks are you getting in a game when you have 4 bats? I'll start with you, Kerry.
If I have to, no. If I have to throw or run, no. If I throw or 3 innings, coaching third, yeah, I could probably knock that out.
Okay, sounds good.
I was like, man.
I mean, it would take me at least 2 weeks to just get my timing. You know that.
Okay.
Like at least. So I would go 0 for easily.
No.
Don't even ask me.
I
actually got a hit off Bartolo Colon last year.
Did you see Bart Colon? He's slimming down just a little bit.
Yeah, it's time. When you're done, I mean,
He's still throwing like 93 with
it was 89 with sink, and he got mad when I hit it. He watched him all around. I was like, hey, I just didn't want to embarrass myself.
Guys, good stuff. Always fantastic seeing you. And the tarp, it is coming off the field, so that looks like good news. The window for play, it is right around the corner, and still to come right here. Elise, she's going to catch up with Flash, Ryan Flaherty. Plus, we're going to get you paid, let you know how you can make a few dollars. Good stuff, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Boom.